Hey everyone, can you see me now and my screen? I'm going to go ahead and invite Sarah. This is like the craziest screen ever. It just keeps going and going and going. It's like a shot of a shot of a shot. Pop this out. All right, can you guys see my screen and see me? We are going to be discussing LinkedIn profiles and what we can do to help you guys figure out what needs to be fixed on your actual profile. So drop a comment below if you can see and hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Hello? All right. Can you see it? All right, we will give everybody just a second to hop on, and I'm going to run through everything for you guys. Okay, you can hear me, great. So I am going to go back through everyone's profiles, and I'm going to bring them up for you one by one and see what information I can tell you about your profiles. So we're going to start kind of at the bottom and work our way up. So give me just a second. We're going to start with this one. Okay, Matthew Fox. Matthew, are you on the call? I'm going to tag you. Okay, this is you. All right, so right here is his profile, and he's done a great job with his headline. Unfortunately, Matthew doesn't have a header image, and this is really common. So this image should reflect your personality. It should reflect your business, kind of what you do. So that is the first thing I see here on his profile, is that there is no header image. This is just a generic image. His headline is good. He has written his summary in first person, so it's I and not third person, which is also good. He does have some media here, which is helpful. And then we get into his activities. So we're actually going to click to see what he has been doing. And what we're going to actually look for is articles, because this is what gets you your information found. Matthew doesn't have any articles written. Articles written on LinkedIn can actually be found in a Google search. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you write those and you're not just writing posts. So right here, he has posts that he's posted, but if he turned these into actual articles, people would be able to find him and his information. So that would be the big suggestion for fix here. Also, if I click Fox Consulting, it didn't actually bring us to a company page. So he needs to add a company page for his business. I'm going to move on to the next person. And give me just a second to get it copied over. Okay, so on else, he does have a very good header image, so props there. His profile picture is a little grainy, but that's okay. A good professional headshot would be better there. He has a clear headline that explains who he is and what he does. His summary is written in first person, but I'm not Outside of this line right here, there's not a whole lot of keywords that can be found within this profile summary. So make sure that you're using keywords that people can use to find who you are and still tells a little bit about you. The next thing we're going to look at is this information right here. So we're going to click and check his company page. Again, there's no company page set up, so that would be a big suggestion there. On his other business for lead consultant, it just says self-employed and there's no company name. So I highly suggest adding those together, creating a company name for that. The other thing I suggest is underneath here is, instead of having it written out like this, have it written out as bullet points that people can actually see to get information from you. That way, then they search for a business strategist, you're who comes up in that search. And we'll check his activity too. It doesn't look like he has much, but we'll just go ahead and check it. We're looking for articles again, and again, he doesn't have any. So those are my suggestions there. We're going to move up to the next person on the list. And this one is Desiree Wolf's, and I am going to tag her so she can see the rundown of this. So right here, she has a good headline. She doesn't have a header image. She has this ending with a period. I would actually break this down into a little bit more concise bullet points. We'll make it read a little bit better. We're going to see she has activities, and she actually has one that says see all articles. So she does have a few articles on LinkedIn, which is really good because that's how you're going to get found on and offline. Right here, all of these are sentences. Again, if she would use bullet points, it would help her to be found a little bit better. The whole point of this is to make sure that you're keyword rich so that people can find who you are and what you do. Her headshot is not as clear as it could be, so just a little bit better would really help her kind of shine through. She does have a hat on, so that kind of shows some of her personality, but at the same time, it can kind of take away from who she is. Sarah's asking what type of articles. So when you write articles, you're wanting to write articles that are information that is pertinent to your brand and who you are as a business professional. So these should definitely be value driven, meaning that you're writing an article that provides some form of value and sets you apart as an industry expert within your field. So that's the kind of information that you're wanting to post there. I'm going to move up to Raluca's. The first thing I noticed about Raluca's before I even copy it over is that her profile picture is not public. So I'm going to move this over. So Raluca does have a profile picture, but because she does not have it listed as public, when she shares her link, it doesn't show up. So we're going to want to make sure that she is sharing that information properly. She has really good, clear headline. She made like a huge mistake in her first line. So she has her contact information as the first line of her summary. That actually isn't where it needs to go. It needs to go over here under contact and personal information. All of that information should be listed over here. As you can see, you can even list other social media accounts. But she listed all this in her headline, so it's drawing away from the pertinent information. If she wanted to put it there, she should bury it in the bottom, but it really doesn't need to be on that screen. The next thing that we're going to look at is activity. As we saw earlier, she doesn't have any articles written because it doesn't say see all articles. So we click see activity, you go to articles, and there aren't any. The next thing that we're going to look at is she is paying for premium. Now, unless you're a job seeker or you are trying to or you're a recruiter or you're using Salesforce, you do not need to pay the $59 for LinkedIn Premium. So it's just kind of a waste of money at this point. You're just throwing it away. Over here, she has these broken down as good bullet points, but if she would rewrite this and have it written a little bit clearer there as far as the breakdown goes as to what exactly each one of those things is, it would be a little bit better and more concise. To show you an example, we'll look at my profile. Under mine, I have all of these keywords. So each one is listed out as a keyword. So I have B2C, B2B marketing techniques, brand analysis, all of those things are written out as bullet points. Under my other company, each one of those is listed out as bullet points. The reason for this is if someone's searching brand strategist, I want to be who comes up under people. So if you don't use keywords, you're not going to show up. Like hers is brand manager and she is strategist here. This one has marketing strategist. She is brand architect here, brand strategist. So it's all pulling from that headline. And that's why that headline is so, so important to make sure that you're using it with heavy, rich keywords and making sure that everything is looking good. The other one we'll go to, let's move on. We're going to go to this one. Right here. All right, so she has a great headline. She has over 500 connections. She has a wonderful head or photo. Her summary is clean and concise. It does have some keywords, but not too many. So that's one of the things that she could do more of, is influx this summary with more keywords. Her media, she'll just want to make sure that instead of having this book me link here, that it's actually just here so that they can get their free consultation. She has a few articles and activity. The biggest thing is going to be, does she have a company page? And the answer to that is no. So she's going to want to create a company page that she's sharing content from. So even if you are your brand, you still want to have that business persona and show that you're a true business professional. So you're going to want to have that as a company page. It just keeps getting ahead of me. Next thing we're going to look at is her featured skills and endorsements. So we're going to want to make sure that these featured skills and endorsements align with what she does as a business professional. So you're going to want to make sure that these line up with who you are and what you're actually trying to do. So you can reorder these to where they make more sense for your brand. And then the best way to get endorsements is to give endorsements. So make sure that you're giving lots of endorsements out. And she doesn't have any recommendations. And the reason for that is she probably hasn't asked for any and she hasn't given any. So if you want recommendations, make sure you're asking for them and giving them. And I'm going to go to one more. And Faith's doesn't appear to have a public, profile picture either. So we're going to see what comes up. And she does have a profile picture, but again, it's not public. So we're going to tag Faith in here so she knows that we did hers. So she's going to want to add that. She does have a good headline that will make her be found. She has over 500 connections, which is very important. If you don't hit that 500 plus, unfortunately, you're not, it's going to show exactly how many people are following you. So right here shows you connections, and right here we can see that she has 1,654 followers. She doesn't have any articles written. I'm going to guess this doesn't have a true business page. No true business page. She does have endorsements, but it doesn't look like the endorsements that she has really relate to her field. She's a lot of the old generic ones that were put in by LinkedIn. So she probably want to clean these up and reorder them to make sure that they align with her current position, and then make sure that she's giving out endorsements. She doesn't have any recommendations. So again, she's either not asking for any or she's not giving any. So you're going to want to make sure that you've done that. The last, and she doesn't have a header profile. The last one we're going to look at is Sarah's. Now, I will be honest, I hop into Sarah's from time to time. So I've kind of had a little bit of fun for it. She told me yesterday, she's like, I changed my headline. And I was like, oh yeah, I went back and changed it now for you again. So Sarah has a good header photo. It's reflective of our new company, Grow Business, which has the LinkedIn course that is available to you guys now that goes over the LinkedIn Overhaul and LinkedIn bots. It's for purchase. Sarah's purchased the link. It is $97. So the things that we're looking at with hers is she has a good headline. She's a good profile picture. She has a good header photo. She's a really good keyword rich summary. She has an article because I helped her get one posted. And then she doesn't have like company pages. And the reason why I know this is because there's no logo there. So she would want to go in and create a business page for each one of these. And she needs to write more articles, and we've readjusted her skills to align with her current goals for business and what she actually does. She also has given and received recommendations. So she's not just receiving them, she's also giving them, which is very important. She does have her certifications under accomplishments. And then you guys might have noticed these interests. Interests are actually what come up when people start following your business, which is why you want to make sure that your business page is listed and not just, this is the company I work for. All of these things, again, are included in the classes that I have. Most classes are under 5 minutes long because I'm kind of a no-nonsense teacher. So let's just get to the point and get it done and make things happen. All of our information is listed over here, but can you explain why that matters in order of your skills? Okay, so I'll go back to her skills. Okay, so if you're seeking a job or somebody's looking to hire you, they're going to want to see that your skills reflect who you are in business. Or if you're looking for a job, they want to see that you have a lot of skills. And I'm going to go to mine for this example because somebody had another question about changing their profile picture. But under my skills, you will see that one of mine doesn't have as many recommendations as like sales and marketing, and it's the marketing strategy. And that's because that was buried way down here. Now, social media marketing is not something, is something that I do, and obviously something that I'm very good at, and that's why it's at over 99. But it's not something that I want my business to be known for now, so I kind of buried it way down in there. Public relations is also something I do a lot of, but again, it's not a business that I'm actually pursuing right now, so I've kind of buried it beneath my information. These keywords are actually what can come up in searches, so you want to make sure that that information is there. Now, as far as my personal information, I only have my email address listed. To edit your public profile, which is Faith's question, you're going to click here, and then you go to your profile's public visibility, and I just have all my stuff is public. Your profile picture, it's your connections, your network, or all LinkedIn members. I just make mine public for everyone that can find me. A few years ago, I had it just set as my connections, and I'm sure that's what yours is, Faith, because we couldn't see it, but you're gonna wanna make sure that it's set to either public or all LinkedIn members. And that's just so that people know that you're a true, real person. I literally have show everything on mine. So if you were not connected with me, or even if you are on LinkedIn, my profile would appear just like this. So all of my information is there. My schooling, everything. So it just doesn't show it's in depth on the public one as it does if you can actually get in there and view it. But that's how you change that visibility, is over here. So I'm going to hop out of this. I'm going to read back through. I can't see any more comments. We'll see. I can't refresh this either. Oh yeah, I can refresh this one. See if I can go back through and see the comments. Okay. I still don't see Matthew's question, Sarah. Can you repost it for me? It's just not showing up. For what you want to make your headline, I actually have a class specifically on what to put as your headline. And basically it boils down to keywords that mean searchable and then something to grab people's attention. And it's been referred to kind of as your so what, like you're a sales and marketing strategist, that's great, they're a dime a dozen, so what? And so I changed mine to my clients make millions on LinkedIn. Are you next? Because last year my clients made over $7 million through sales off LinkedIn. So we have that listed as something there. See if I can. Is a recommendation more important than an endorsement? A recommendation is absolutely more important than an endorsement. So if a recommendation is your testimonial from someone that you've actually worked for or worked with. So it's very important to get those. If you work with previous clients, absolutely 100%. Get as many of them to recommend you as possible. The more you have, the better. Old bosses, that is your lifeline and your calling card to the world to say, I am worthy of being here. My knowledge is important. I'm great. And you want to make sure that you have those. Endorsements are a dime a dozen. I mean, anybody can go on and get tons of endorsements, but really and truly, you really want to make sure that you have that to where you're getting as many as possible. I don't have as many as I should because I don't ask for them, but I have some because people have left them. The other thing is that you'll notice that my header photo is really bad. And that is because we have a class on why this is not the best one to use. I just haven't changed it back. See if I can keep up with the things. Yes, Sarah, your recommendations do say you're a badass, and that's what you want. You want people to know that you are important and why you were there and everything possible. The other thing that I get asked a lot is to add your profile in another language. If you change your profile to another language, you have to be able to translate it yourself. They're not going to translate it for you. So if you speak French and you want people to be able to read, and you live in like Canada and you have French and English clients and you want people to read it in French, you would have to go through and write it out in French also. So that's something that you want to consider. The other thing is that you're going to watch your search appearances. So if your search appearances are low, it's because you aren't able to be found in a search. And the searches are all based off keywords. So again, that's why this is so important right here, is because that's where they're pulling from first. So even like a headline on regular web SEO where you're looking at where it reads the headline and then the headline 2, headline 3, headline 4, headline 5. Can you hear me, Sarah? It's showing it's live. Am I unfrozen? It's showing it's moving. Do we need to do a take two?
There's a play button. What's it mean?
I don't know.
Give you that. Did you just
Okay.
highlight your picture?
Sales Navigator is over here somewhere. You have to have a premium account to unlock Sales Navigator. And basically what it is it integrates with Salesforce CRM. It is very expensive, so you do not want to have that expense unless you really work for a Fortune 500 company and you guys actively use Salesforce and you are, I mean, unless your business is doing $1 million a year steadily in sales, you don't need Sales Navigator. You can use HubSpot, CRM, and just keep track of it that way. It's not going to integrate like Salesforce does with Sales Navigator, but unless you're able to tackle that beast, it's really not something that you need. I don't actively suggest it unless you're selling a huge, massive product and doing major call on people. You can get by with doing everything for less. I'm a very much a thrifty person, so I'm like, if it's free or cheap, go that way versus paying a bunch of money for it. The other thing we can talk about real quick are groups. So if you are active in groups on LinkedIn, you should be. There are tons of groups out there. And everything is a conversation, so it's very different than how Facebook groups are ran. I'll go into a bigger group that I'm in so you can kind of see. But everything is kind of tailored to starting a conversation. They aren't articles, they're posts with a headline, and it's all geared towards kind of getting the word out there about your business or whatever. But there's tons of groups for every thing possible. And the other thing is you can find a pro. So you can list what service you need and find freelancers. So if you're not taking part of this part, you probably want to make sure that you are listed as a pro so that you can, so people can find you. To get in, you just click, are you a pro? And you apply to be on there. Yes, you can join our group. I'll go back to it. The other thing people want to know is about advertising on LinkedIn because most people aren't able to do it well and very good. Well, I have news. I thrive at LinkedIn advertising, and there will be a class coming out in March on LinkedIn advertising. We're running a few more case studies before we launch that class, but it will be coming out in March. So you have groups, Pro Finder, Salary, SlideShare, lots of things that you can use, other products from LinkedIn. You do have to pay for some of those, so be sure that you know that. If you are looking for a job, of course, as always, you can go under jobs and find jobs that you might be interested in. And if you are trying to get a job, you want to make sure that you have the premium. The reason why I don't now is because in the past you could see where you ranked under the like how you added up next to people in your industry. They took that feature away when Microsoft took over, so that's no longer available. But if you guys have any questions, we do have the class. We have tons of stuff in our private Facebook group as far as peer support goes for people that are enrolled in our course, and we do have the free group on LinkedIn. So I hope you guys have everything you could possibly need from me today. This class was way longer than I thought it was going to be. Y'all have a great day.